Annabelle and Nathaniel's relationship began flawlessly on their first date. Nathaniel instantly recognized that Annabelle was the one, declaring, "I have waited for you for 1,000 years, and here you are." The way he spoke those words made Annabelle feel secure. If only she had known he was truly a devil in disguise. If only she had realized she should have fled from him without a second thought. In a few years, this man would commit something terrible and heartless against Annabelle and her child. But on the day of the funeral, the harsh truth would be revealed. Annabelle had nearly everything anyone could desire: successful businesses, a garage full of cars, and a grand mansion. Not only had she inherited her late parents' fortune, but she was also an astute woman. After dedicating years to her business, she quickly ascended to become one of the most influential and successful women in the city. Annabelle, who had received numerous awards for her philanthropic efforts, possessed a kind heart and was always eager to assist the sick and the needy. At 27, she founded the Annabelle Richardson Foundation, which provided many homeless children with a better life. She also extended her compassion to animals, supporting various shelters and rescue organizations to improve their lives. Surely, such a remarkable woman deserved happiness, right? Unfortunately, that was not the case. Annabelle felt as desolate as a black stone resting beneath a blue sea. You see, Annabelle was a victim of her past. While in her teens, she dated a guy named James, and that relationship lasted 5 years. It was beautiful yet very dark and toxic. James eventually lost his life in an accident while drinking and driving, and Annabelle blamed herself for it. That day, she had scolded him about his drinking habits, which escalated into an intense argument. He left the house in anger, got into his car, and zoomed off. "You're driving me crazy. I'm tired of the fights. I want peace. This is toxic. Just leave and don't come back." Annabelle had screamed at him as he rushed out of the house. That evening, their relationship had become so toxic that she felt she couldn't go on anymore. Sadly, James's death only made her realize how much she still loved him and that she still had some strength left in her to try. Ever since then, she had been looking for James in every man she met. Unfortunately, after a week or two, she would fall out of love with them. Well, maybe it wasn't love to start with, but the feelings would just disappear. Over the years, Annabelle started thinking that maybe she would never love anyone as much as she had loved James. That was the case until she met Nathaniel, a young man in his late 20s who sent her a Facebook request one night. Seeing him in those crazy jeans and a black hoodie reminded Annabelle of James. The guy also had a little girl sitting beside him in his profile picture. She was about 5 years old, and judging by the way she looked like James, Annabelle knew the girl was his daughter. As Annabelle scrolled through his Facebook posts, she noticed how much he cared for his daughter, Maddie, and she felt a strong connection to the little girl. For the next few days, Annabelle found herself spending a lot of time on his profile, wanting to learn more about him and Maddie. A few days later, just as Annabelle was about to send him a message, he sent her one first. "Hi, gorgeous." Without wasting any time, Annabelle replied, and they talked for hours. She even got to speak with little Maddie on the phone, which felt wonderful and like a dream come true. In the following days, they kept talking on the phone, and Annabelle was surprised by how much she liked this younger guy she had met online. After a few weeks of texting, they finally met in person, and it was amazing. Nathaniel brought Maddie along, and they all had a great time together. As they were about to leave, Nathaniel took Annabelle's hands and told her that he really liked her and that he hoped he could move on from his late girlfriend, Maddie's mother, with her. Within a few months, Nathaniel moved in with Annabelle, and everyone noticed that she seemed different. She looked happy and was even more productive. Gradually, Annabelle became convinced that she would never fall out of love with Nathaniel, and she swore to do everything to keep their relationship. So when Nathaniel started asking for money, she agreed right away and saw nothing wrong with it. She even gave him double whatever he asked for without asking what he needed the money for, or maybe she was just scared to ask. It was only when Nathaniel started to get angry whenever she helped the needy that Annabelle began to suspect that something wasn't right. "Why do you keep acting like Mother Teresa? We could use that money to start a business or invest in real estate," he would scream at her. 6 months into the relationship, Annabelle's business started to go bad, and even though she tried to explain that it could sometimes happen that way and that she would recover from her loss, Nathaniel wasn't having any of it. "It's because you keep helping people with the money. We will go bankrupt all because of you," he yelled. He demanded access to her bank account and businesses so he could control what she sent to people and how much. Surprised, Annabelle complied. Not long after this, she started doubting whether she should let Nathaniel control her that much. But it was during this time that she discovered she was pregnant, and she found herself dependent on him and loving him even more. Now preoccupied with managing the businesses, Nathaniel was often away from home, and Annabelle began to suspect that he was using work as an excuse to stay away from her. Regardless of this, she was glad to have little Maddie be her side. "You'll have a younger brother or sister soon, okay?" Annabelle would tell Maddie, and the little girl would rub Annabelle's bump. The two had come to love each other so much and couldn't imagine their lives without each other. As the months passed, Nathaniel closed down Annabelle's foundation, but she still secretly tried to help a few people. Soon enough, Annabelle began to wonder if the relationship was heading in the right direction. But whenever she had doubts, Nathaniel would do something to make her forget about her worries and fears. It was on one of these days, when she got angry at him for trying to stop her from helping her cousin, that he suddenly went down on one knee and proposed. Annabelle couldn't believe her eyes. She felt they still needed more time to study each other. But then again, she couldn't imagine her life without him. So why wait? Yes, she had doubts, but she also loved Nathaniel so much. And then there was little Maddie, standing in front of her and screaming, "Said yes to Dad." So Annabelle found herself saying yes, quietly at first, then she started screaming happily. The wedding was a far cry from what Annabelle had always envisioned. There were only a few friends in attendance, as Nathaniel wanted, but still, Annabelle was happy. Maybe just not as happy as she should have been. At least she loved the groom, and seeing Maddie, her little bride dressed in white, made her happy. After the marriage, Nathaniel became more and more absent from home, so when Annabelle's water eventually broke, he wasn't at home. Maddie was the one holding her hand and telling her everything would be alright. The little girl called 911, and within a few minutes, an ambulance arrived and Annabelle was rushed to the hospital, where she gave birth to a baby girl named Ava. It was exactly 2 years after Ava's birth that tragedy struck. After eating supper prepared by Nathaniel, the family went to bed. Sadly, the next morning, Nathaniel and his daughter Maddie were the only ones who woke up. Nathaniel quickly called Annabelle's relatives and asked them to come over immediately. When the relatives arrived, they found a letter on Annabelle's bed, and it read, "I'm really sorry for letting you all down. Life got too hard, and I couldn't keep going. Taking my daughter with me was the best choice I made, and I hope you won't judge me for it. I want us to rest in peace, so please bury us right away." No words could express how everyone felt. Still, they quickly arranged the burial as Annabelle had asked. But just when the coffins were opened for one last look, something unbelievable happened. Maddie, standing next to Annabelle's coffin, suddenly stopped crying and shouted, "Everyone wait." There was complete silence. Then Maddie yelled again. Her finger just moved. "She's alive." A family member who was a nurse rushed to Annabelle and her daughter. She checked their wrists and felt a weak pulse, then shouted, "They are alive. They are alive." Within minutes, they were taken to the hospital for proper care. Annabelle was shocked when she saw the letter her family said she had written. She immediately realized that Nathaniel was behind everything. Knowing that the truth was out, Nathaniel ran away from the city, but the police found him after a thorough search, and he was arrested. After recovering fully, Annabelle and her daughter were eventually released from the hospital. A few months later, Annabelle found the strength to move on from her past and legally adopted Maddie, and they all lived happily ever after. What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comments section. I hope you like this story. Please give it a thumbs up and share it with your loved ones. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.